Hey guys, it's Jessie with Lost Marbles Farm. I'm out here. It's a gorgeous day. It is absolutely so beautiful. It definitely feels like spring. We have had a week of miserable rain, cold rain, and this week is pretty much all sunny and 60 degree, maybe even 70s by the end of the week. So it's definitely a go outside day. I had already taken one of my rows and pruned it with my blackberries, but I saved one row just to show you guys how I do it, how I do all my pruning. Now normally I do this in the late winter, but I got so busy and it was so rainy, and I do not like to prune when it's rainy, because when you make a cut in a plant, you are opening it up, and if there's a lot of moisture you can introduce bacteria. So it's really best to prune when you know you're going to have some dry weather for a while. So that's why I've waited until now to do this. And there are different plants that I have growing here, so I'm going to go through each one and tell you how I prune it. Okay, so when I'm pruning, I like to have my handheld shears and then your loppers, because you want to get the bigger branches with these. Plus it's really hard to reach down in there, so you can reach down with these. So I always go through and do the big ones first, and then I'll come back and do the small ones. Alright, so as you can see, everything's a big jumbled mess. So the first thing I'm going to do is notice which of these branches are completely just dead. They're hollow sounding, they're very lightweight, and they have no color whatsoever. Those I'm going to try to clip down at the very, very base where it meets the ground as close as I can. Okay, and pull them out. Okay, so if you want to zoom in to show there's absolutely no color, if you can get that, whatsoever. So I toss those. So I go through and get all that mess out of there, and that probably takes the longest, especially when you have them tied up like this from last year. Where's my... and they're caught up in that. Get all my things. Now this variety that I'm trimming right now is a thornless variety, and it is called Prime Arc Freedom. It's a primocane thornless blackberry that we got from Stark Brothers. If you ever want to look it up, it's really, really good. Drought tolerant, disease resistant. It fruits from June, early June, all the way to frost. So I was even picking some in November this year. And it does best, I think, through zone 5 through 8. But anyhow, this is a great variety. The only thing I can think that's negative is that these canes get pretty heavy. And if you don't tie them off early, I have come out here and found that they have snapped. This is before they even get berries. Just the greenery that grows on the canes themselves make it top heavy. So you want to start early with tying them off with a fence. This is just T-post and wire, heavier gauge electric wire that we have twisted around here. You want to show that? I have 3 of these. So one is down low, one is medium height, about 3 feet off the ground, and this one's probably 4.5 feet or so. But so you want to start, as they grow, you're going to start tying them off. So you'll first tie them off down here. You can see where I had some little, I use baker's twine because it's just easy for me. I have a whole roll of it, and I just bring the whole roll out here, tie them off here. As they get bigger, tie them here, and of course, when they get more growth, tie them off here. So you're gonna have to do that maintenance throughout the year. If you don't, like I said, they're gonna get top heavy. You're gonna come out here and your whole branch is snapped off and everything's dead. All right, so here is one that I have already done. Now I just want to preface this. Yes, you can lop these off at the very bottom. You can do that. I just choose to go ahead and leave some up, because the second year growth, it's a primocane, which means it's going to fruit on the new growth. But if you leave any existing, so you're going to get, or this is what they say anyway, you'll get 2 fruiting. You'll get the new growth fruiting, and then the old growth becomes a floor cane, and it'll grow off that as well. So all I know, you can get mixed up in all the terminology. This is what I'm telling you. when I cut back all the old stuff and then I trim these back, I would say 60 to 70%, and minimalize it, because see, this was all hairy like these behind me. When I do that, I get loads of berries the next year. So this is how I do it. If you like lopping it off at the very bottom, you go right ahead, do it. This is my preference. This is the way I do it. This variety of a thornless blackberry, I have no clue what it is. I picked it up at a flea market, and I thought it looked unusual because the stem is completely purple. It's not because it's dormant. It stays purple year round. The leaves are even a darker green, and they have like a purpley underneath side of them. But I planted them that first year. They didn't do much that year. The next year I pruned them the same way I do my primocanes, but they hardly did anything. I might have gotten a handful of berries off of them, and that was late in the season. So I was like, why isn't this producing? So I did some research and found out this is not a primocane, this is a floricane. And what that means is the first year that you let it grow, if you were to cut all of that back, it's not going to fruit the next year. It fruits on the second year growth. So I treat it differently. I have learned that I cannot prune this the same way the primocanes. I cut back all the dead stuff, just like the primocanes, and I leave 2 to 3 of my main stalks. And from here, I've got like these crazy long trails. I'm gonna cut it back about 18 inches from this main thing right here, okay? So I'm gonna do that with all of them, and like giving it a haircut basically. So there's a lot less pruning on these. It's not as aggressive as I do my primocanes. So that's what I do with this variety. If you come across a variety that you're unsure of, you'll just have to probably learn by trial and error like I have. But this is a floricane, and this is how you would prune it separately than you would the primocanes. Okay, I just want to give you an up close visual. This somehow transferred over here. This little skinny purple stem is that variety that I don't know the name of it. This, you see how this is dead? Okay, and it's really brown. Can y'all see that? That needs to be cut at the very base. That needs to come out completely. If you see stuff that's like this, you see how I clipped that, and it's, let me see if I can focus here. Come on. You see how it's green? That means it's still alive. It's even got some little growth starting right here. I have just trimmed it back. It's about 2 feet or so. I've just trimmed it back that far. I could cut it off at the ground, but like I said, I like to leave a few of these up. Maybe like 2 or 3 per plant. But let me tell you something. If you don't cut this stuff back aggressively, it's gonna be so overwhelmingly bushy and insane, and you won't even have a good experience picking berries. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope it helps if you guys are wanting to get berries this year. How exactly you prune them, it's not really that difficult. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of planning, and you will get better at pruning as the years go by. It'll be like second nature. Most of the time, actually, I had to sit down and think about how to explain it. I just do it. I just know what needs to be done. And I was like, well, why do I do it this way? So I had to go do some more research so I could better explain why I do it this way. Y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on the next video.